Welcome to my channel, where your adventure into the future starts right now. Step into a vibrant universe filled with groundbreaking technology, breathtaking alien landscapes, and exhilarating sci-fi narratives that challenge your imagination. From daring explorations of distant galaxies to haunting journeys through dystopian societies, we uncover the most captivating stories and innovative ideas that will shape the world of tomorrow. Subscribe today and join us on an incredible intergalactic voyage that promises to inspire and thrill. The galaxy had been a place of turmoil and conflict for as long as any species could remember. Empires rose and fell, alliances were forged and broken, and war seemed to be the only constant. Among the many species that roamed the stars, some were known for their incredible might, their ruthless determination to conquer, and their unrelenting thirst for power. One of the most feared of these races was the Exartok, a brutal and ancient species of alien warriors known for their terrifying generals and their unyielding desire to dominate. The Exartok were a race of beings built for war, tall, muscular, with skin as hard as steel and the intelligence of ancient strategists. They came from a world where only the strong survived, and their civilization had been shaped by millennia of brutal combat. To the Exartok, power was the only thing that mattered, and their leaders were as fierce as they were cunning. The most famous, or infamous, of these generals was one named Krathar, a being whose name struck fear into the hearts of those who heard it. Krathar had led the Exartok armies on countless campaigns across the galaxy, conquering world after world and leaving nothing but destruction in his wake. His forces were always formidable, his tactics flawless, and his hunger for victory insatiable. And yet, despite his many triumphs, there was one species that had eluded the Exartok. One species that had remained mysteriously out of reach. A species that had earned a reputation for being elusive, resourceful, and most importantly, untouchable. That species was humanity. The Earth-born humans had developed at a rapid pace, advancing technologically and strategically far beyond what anyone had anticipated. The Exartok had encountered many species in their long history, but none had managed to resist them as effectively as the humans. And as the centuries passed, Krathar's obsession with this small, seemingly insignificant species grew. His hunger for conquest could not be satisfied until he had defeated them, broken their spirit, and brought them under his control. For years, the Exartok had tried to invade Earth, to subjugate humanity, and each time they had failed. Their fleets, massive and imposing, had been repelled by the sheer determination and ingenuity of humanity. The humans fought fiercely, their armies united, and their strategies unpredictable. Even their most advanced technologies, which were nothing compared to the Exartoks, had been enough to halt the alien invaders time and again. Krathar, however, refused to admit defeat. To him, humanity was a challenge that must be met. He would not rest until they had been broken, until their cities had fallen, and their people had bowed before his might. It was with this burning desire for conquest that Krathar set his sights on a new plan, one that would finally bring humanity to its knees. Instead of sending his fleets to Earth once more, he decided to take a different approach. Krathar would demand the most terrifying weapon humanity possessed, the Beast. The Beast was a name whispered with reverence and fear throughout human military circles. It was not a weapon in the traditional sense, but a living creature, a war machine of unimaginable power. The Beast had been bred on Earth for a purpose that no one quite understood. It was an experiment, a living organism, an apex predator that had been engineered with genetic modifications to make it stronger, faster, and more vicious than anything humanity had ever seen. Some believed it was a weapon meant to protect humanity from other alien threats. Others thought it was simply an accident, a creature born of reckless scientific ambition. Whatever the truth, one thing was clear. The beast was a force of nature, and its power was unmatched. Krathar knew that the beast could tip the scales in his favor. With it, he believed he could finally crush humanity, break their spirit, and prove once and for all that the Exartok were the true rulers of the galaxy. And so, with his fleet in tow, Krathar made a bold decision. He would not invade Earth this time. Instead, he would make a demand. He would send a transmission to humanity, demanding that they hand over the beast or face annihilation. He believed that once faced with the might of his forces and the threat of losing their greatest weapon, humanity would have no choice but to comply. The transmission came through loud and clear, a booming voice reverberating across the airwaves of Earth's communications systems. Krathar's image appeared on screens across the globe, his massive frame filling the screen, his eyes burning with the intensity of a predator who had finally cornered its prey. "You humans have evaded us for long enough," Krathar's voice growled, a deep rumbling sound that sent shivers down the spines of those who heard it. "But no longer. We demand the beast. You will surrender it to us, or we will unleash the full force of our armies upon you. There is nowhere you can hide. There is nowhere you can run. The beast is ours by right, and you will bow before the might of the Exartok." For a moment, Earth held its breath. The Exartok had been a constant threat for so long, and this latest demand felt like the final straw. The United Nations, the Galactic Council, and various planetary defense forces immediately convened to discuss how best to respond. There was no denying the Exartok's power, and the threat of losing the beast was a terrifying one. Humanity had always relied on the beast as a safeguard against galactic predators, and handing it over could leave them vulnerable to other alien threats. But surrendering the beast to Krathar, that was an option no one was willing to entertain. And then came the unexpected response. The President of the United States, backed by the leaders of other major world powers, addressed the galaxy. His calm, composed voice carried over the airwaves, offering a reply that none had anticipated. "To Krathar, General of the Exartok, I say this: you want the beast? You will have to come and take it. But I warn you, you may find it is not quite what you think." The transmission cut off, and a collective gasp spread across the globe. What had been meant to be a show of fear, a demonstration of humanity's submission, had instead become a declaration of defiance. The message sent waves of confusion through the Exartok ranks. How could humanity be so bold? Did they not understand the might of Krathar's armies? Did they not recognize the inevitable fate awaiting them? Krathar, however, was not one to show weakness. He snarled in frustration, but the challenge intrigued him. He had never encountered a species so audacious, so utterly fearless in the face of certain destruction. He knew that humanity had always been unpredictable, but this response was unlike anything he had expected. It was not fear, nor was it submission. It was a dare. And so, the Exartok fleet moved into position, their warships surrounding Earth's orbit, waiting for the final command to descend upon the planet and take the beast by force. But what Krathar did not know was that humanity had a different understanding of the beast than he did. While the Exartok saw it as a weapon, a tool of war to be controlled and wielded, the humans saw it as something entirely different. To them, the beast was not a mindless monster of destruction. It was a living creature, one that had been raised and cared for with love and attention. It was, for all its power and ferocity, a creature with a mind of its own. And it was not something that could be controlled by any force, not even Krathar's. The beast, as it turned out, was not the rampaging monster the Exartok imagined. It was not a creature bred solely for destruction, but rather it was a guardian, a protector. The humans had raised it from birth, and over the years they had learned how to communicate with it, how to tame its wild instincts. It had been trained, yes, but not in the way Krathar assumed. It was not an obedient tool. It was a sentient being with its own will, its own purpose. And when Krathar arrived to claim the beast, he found that his demand had been met with something entirely unexpected. The beast, rather than attacking the humans who had raised it, turned to face the alien general. Its massive, muscular form towered over Krathar's forces, its eyes glowing with intelligence and understanding. It growled, but there was no fury in the sound. It was a warning, a challenge. Krathar, seeing the creature before him, could not hide his confusion. This was not the mindless beast he had envisioned. This was no simple weapon of war. This was something far more complex, something he could not control. The general's blood boiled, his pride wounded by the fact that he could not impose his will on such a creature. "Just a gentle pup," Human Commander said with a smile, her voice full of confidence. "You wanted the beast, Krathar. But what you fail to realize is that it's not just a weapon. It's a guardian of our people. And unlike you, it doesn't bow to anyone." Krathar's eyes narrowed. For the first time in his life, he was unsure of what to do. His armies were vast, his warships enormous, but none of them could challenge the bond between the beast and humanity. No matter how hard he tried to intimidate, no matter how much force he wielded, he would never break the spirit of a species that had learned how to live in harmony with such a creature. The beast, in that moment, was not a weapon, it was a symbol. A symbol of humanity's refusal to be cowed, a symbol of their ingenuity, their strength, and their unwavering determination. And Krathar, for all his might, would learn that even the most fearsome general could be outmatched by something more powerful than brute force. "Come and take it, Krathar," the commander said again, her smile unwavering. And for the first time in his life, Krathar realized that his victory was not guaranteed. That sometimes the most powerful weapon was not the one that could destroy, but the one that could protect. And in the end, it was the beast that would decide the fate of the galaxy.